welcome to Bake With Me. We're so glad you're here. Before we do anything else, make sure you click on that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on a thing. We have some wonderful, wonderful episodes coming up for you with some fantastic baking recipes. But today, our recipe is for berry muffins. It's a very healthy muffin, and I'll tell you why in just a second. I need to introduce our very special guest for today. She is a wonderful young lady who is attending a wonderful university. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Please help me welcome Erica.
Hi.
Erica, my darling.
Robin.
Why have I invited you to be on my show today?
Well, you want me to talk and teach everybody about PCOS, also known as polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Polycystic ovarian syndrome.
It's a
that
mouthful.
Sounds very
That's why we call it PCOS.
PCOS.
Yeah.
And what is that?
It is basically a hormonal, I wouldn't call it a disease, but it definitely is something that a lot of teens and young adults get when their hormones get out of balance. You know, during puberty, that's a huge, big part. And what ends up happening is that, especially for women, is that their hormones kind of go out of whack and it causes a lot of problems in their body that normal women are exposed to experience, and the big part that it affects is menstrual cycles.
Okay. So like we're women, right? Mm-hmm. We don't need any help in that area.
No.
So when you have hormonal issues, it probably causes a lot of different
causes a lot of problems. It's sort of like a cog in a system, you know, once one gets kind of broken and needs oil, the whole system just goes out of whack.
Is this prevalent? Like, is this?
It's very common. It's one of the most common hormonal imbalance things that happen in America.
So why don't we
the
know
world.
about it?
I don't know.
Why aren't we talking about it?
It should be talked about
People need to know so
way
they can recognize
more.
these symptoms and contact their medical provider if need be.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll get into more of that. Let's bake some healthy berry muffins. I did a little research after you told me about PCOS. And there is a certain diet that they recommend for women who have PCOS. And one of those things is to not eat refined sugars and fried fatty foods, that kind of thing. So I found a berry muffin that doesn't call for any of that stuff.
Oh my gosh.
For you. And for the people out there, the women out there suffering from PCOS, these muffins are for you. Are we ready?
I'm ready.
All right, so let's mix in our dry ingredients. We have a cup and a half of gluten-free flour. There you go. Awesome job. I feel like you've done this before.
Oh yeah, I bake all the time.
You do? You like baking?
I love baking.
Aw.
Yeah.
All right, grab 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Thank you. 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Thank you. 1 teaspoon of baking soda.
It smells so good.
Does it smell good already?
It's like wafting up to my nose and I'm like, oh.
And we have a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. You only want to use a small amount. I heard recently that nutmeg can be toxic if used in large quantities.
Really?
Toxic.
Death by pumpkin pie.
We don't want any of that. So I'm just going to scoot this a little bit here. Yeah, mix that up for me, and I'm going to get ready for our wet ingredients. We have, as a sweetener, it's unsweetened. So it's not your sweetener, Robin, just so you know. It is 3/4 cups of unsweetened applesauce. We're going to plop that in there. We have 2 eggs. Just gonna lightly beat those a little bit before I throw those in there. We have 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla, 1/3 cup of agave syrup.
Ooh.
Good stuff.
What's agave? I've never heard of it.
What is agave? That's an excellent question, Erica. It's sort of like a honey, but it's not made from bees. So it's a substitute for people who need to use something like honey in their baking, or if you are vegan, then you could use an agave instead of a honey.
That's amazing.
I know, right?
You're so smart.
I'm so smart. All right, so we're stirring up our wet ingredients. Look how simple this is going to be.
Right?
We are going to put our wet ingredients into our dry ingredients.
Oh, the other way around.
The other way
Usually you
around.
put dry in the wet.
I know, but we put the dry stuff in the big bowl. So we're just switching it around today. But they might not notice. Yeah. So I'm going to do that. Why don't you tell me a little bit about how the PCOS affects you on a daily basis?
Well, I remember in high school, all of a sudden I just stopped having periods. And at first it was sort of like a blessing.
And you're like, hey,
yay!
hey.
And I remember looking up online like, oh, why have I stopped having periods? And they said, well, stress is a big common factor for that. So I literally didn't go to my gynecologist because I thought that it was stress from school. And I figured that once summer vacation rolled around, I would be back on track. And I did. I had like one period and I was like, see, everything's
it's all better.
But I failed to notice that it was only in that 1 month that I only had a period. And so eventually I was just kind of living without being undiagnosed for like a couple years. And then as it grew, as like I continued to untreat it, I gathered more symptoms of PCOS. So one of the most common symptoms that you can tell that it's PCOS, aside from your periods stopping, is that women will start to get body hair where they're not supposed to get body hair.
That's fun for every woman. That's what we want.
So I started actually growing a beard at one point. And like women typically grow hair on the lip here, but not supposed to grow here. And so I thought this was normal since I had hair growing up here like every woman does. And eventually I started to gain weight a lot easier. I already
That's one of the most common symptoms of PCOS
Absolutely.
that I read is that weight gain.
And I already had a low metabolism, so again, I had no idea. All three of these symptoms are very telling signs of PCOS, but because it's so normalized and not talked about, I didn't go treat it until literally like this year or last year. It's 2019, people.
But not today. You're talking about it today.
I'm talking about it
making
today.
people aware.
Absolutely.
And you can't be scared to talk about these things. I mean, it's hard because it's about the female body, and you feel
course.
like, you know, whatever. But there's nothing like making a good muffin talking about menstrual periods.
Yeah, talking about blood and weight gain and beards and
Love it. Okay, so this is super easy. We've already combined all of our ingredients.
Yeah, look
They're
at
mixed
you.
and incorporated really well. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fold in some of this stuff. We are going to take a cup of fresh cut strawberries. You can switch it out if you like raspberries better. You could use raspberries. We're going to plop those in there. We have chopped up, this is dark chocolate. So again, there's no refined sugar in this. It's just
very
dark
good.
chocolate. That's cacao. I like to say cacao. That's been chopped very finely. We're going to pour that in, and 1/3 cup of walnuts, which of course you could leave out if you don't, or if you like another kind of nut, like pecan or something like that, that would work out really well too.
What I love about this recipe that you've made for us today, Robin, is that there's a lot of high fiber foods in here, like the berries and the nuts, which is very important for women with PCOS, because one of the reasons why you need to eat high fiber foods is that it helps regulate your hormones.
I mean, that's why I made it.
She's so smart. What would I do without you?
You would not have these delicious berry
Right?
muffins, I'll tell you that.
Right.
All right, grab the muffin tin, and we are going to, this makes a dozen muffins, very nice sized fluffy muffins. So I have a scoop here to fit each of those. So I'm gonna scoop in, I'm gonna fill it probably about 2/3 of the way. So let's not
Sounds
take
good.
so much. Let's get, just
Leave it some room to
Give it some
rise
room
and
to rise.
blossom.
And we are going to preheat our oven to 350 degrees and bake these for 18 to 20 minutes.
It's short.
And we will be back as soon as our muffins are baked. Welcome back. As you can see, our muffins are baked, our beautiful berry muffins. And these are very PCOS friendly. So if you happen to have PCOS or need a healthier diet, these muffins are good for that. Now, Erica, before we go, is there anything else you would like to share about PCOS?
I want to make sure that everybody who may be questioning they have PCOS, go immediately to your gynecologist. It's a very common but frequently untreated problem that a lot of women have. And honestly, I didn't go for years, and the more I didn't go, the more worse it got. So the 3 most common symptoms, if you're questioning, is if you're not having periods every month, make sure you go to your gynecologist and ask about that. It may be stress, sure, but it's important to ask. If you notice that you're having hair in places where you shouldn't, then that's also a sign. And then if you notice that if you're gaining weight a lot quicker, then that may also be a sign.
And you haven't changed anything in your diet, and you're just gaining weight.
Exactly. You're just gaining weight. Everything's normal. Even if you're athletic, and have PCOS, you could still gain weight. It's really sad.
Well, I don't think we're gonna gain weight if we try these muffins. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Should we give it a try?
Yeah.
All right, let's try it. Look how fluffy they came out. They just puff right up.
I'm really surprised.
All right, ready?
I'm ready.
I'm gonna take.
Oh.
These are the best muffins. Period. No. Okay. They're really good.
It's funny.
They taste really good. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We hope you bake these healthy muffins yourself. We'll see you on the next show. Thank you so much for watching. If you want more information on the disability that you learned about today, click the link below and please subscribe to our channel. Peace, love, and happiness.